G'day, I'm Henry Rosenbloom, the publisher at Scribe, and I'm with Margaret Simons. We're here to talk about her just released ebook on the crisis facing the Australian press. The ebook is called Journalism at the Crossroads, Crisis and Opportunity for the Press. And this is an unusual thing that we've done. We've actually commissioned an ebook from Margaret, an ebook only, at least at this stage. Now Margaret, you've been writing about the problems facing the Australian media and specifically the press for some time, but I could tell earlier this year that you were starting to become alarmed at what was developing. Can you explain what the background was to the writing of this ebook?
Sure. Well, I was researching an article about Fairfax, and as part of that I interviewed some senior people in Fairfax, and of course all the talk was about the iPad application and about the web page and about whether or not they were going to make people pay for content online. And then I said, well, what are you doing to actually innovate journalism, what journalists do? And there was complete puzzlement. What do you mean? Journalists ring people up and find things out and write about them. What else could there be? And of course, in the context of an interview where I was meant to be getting other people to talk, I couldn't say what I meant. But really, that was the spur that caused me to write the series of articles which became the book. Because although we are facing a crisis in journalism, the crisis is in the business models that have supported it. Not in people's hunger for news and information.
Sure.
And of course we also have an extraordinary number of new ways in which journalists can find things out and engage audiences. And so although yes, journalists find things out and write about them is still the heart of it, there are many, many, many other things going on which are really quite exciting.
And now that actually leads to something that I thought was fascinating. There's a case study in the book about an American development from a company that was virtually broke, virtually defunct, and they've hauled themselves out of that by doing some quite extraordinary things. Do you want to summarise those?
Yeah, sure. This is the Journal Register Company, which in some ways is like our own Fairfax in that it's got a couple of masthead publications and then quite a wide network of rural and regional publications. And what they've done is adopted a strategy called Digital First, where they think first of all about the digital delivery mechanisms, and print, while they still have print products, they come second. The idea is that they actually use those mechanisms to engage the audience in the news-making process, so they use social media to actually get people to suggest stories, to inform them on what's going on in the communities. They've invited the public into their newsroom, so you can actually attend news conference there if you wish. They have a cafe which is not on the other side of the security barriers, as you'll find it at News Limited or Fairfax, but in the heart of the newsroom. They run workshops there for bloggers and citizen journalists on how to use freedom of information legislation, investigative skills. And so those papers have really begun to belong to their communities in a way that wasn't previously the case. And because the newsroom and the media outlet has become the place where the community conducts its business, it's also the forum of choice for advertisers who want to address that community.
Now, Margaret, is it overstating it to say that you feel that if an organisation like Fairfax doesn't embrace a model like this, that they're in serious danger of disappearing in the form we know them? I
doubt very much if the mastheads will completely disappear. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see them sold off, and I think that may happen sooner rather than later. I think people will be surprised how soon it may happen. And I think they will continue to exist. The real question is the journalistic capacity of those mastheads. How many journalists will they employ and how will they do the journalism? And I don't think there is enough thinking going on within either News Limited or Fairfax about that.
So in a sense, what you write about in the book is an attempt to alert journalists and their editors and their managers to the size of the crisis facing them and perhaps the range of options that do exist out there for helping them get out of it.
Yeah, so I think they were aware of the size of the crisis because they of course see the balance sheets, which I don't see. But yes, to encourage innovative thinking both in mainstream media and outside it.
Right, thank you.